Hello and good morning. My name is Steve Pugh. It is Christmas Eve. It's the 23rd of December. My I was going to say it's been a while since I've done one of these, and also in the kind of run up to Christmas, it's always I think everyone's kind of in the wind down mode where you're just getting ready for Christmas and you're trying to get all your stuff done and everything like that. But then likewise, a lot of people are starting to think and plan for 2023. One of the things that I wanted to do was the last Roadmap MBA session for the year. So this is a live stream. This is live. It's 9:01 here in the UK. And basically with the Roadmap MBA, it's a real world business course which helps people grow in their business or career. And our plan and our aim is to create a platform which helps people around the world basically build a better life for themselves. You can get completely free access to absolutely everything that we do at www.roadmapmba.com. You can create a completely free account, start learning for free. And what we're looking to do is help empower 5 billion people worldwide just with business training and education in a way that it's our belief that can really help people build a better life for themselves. So yes, we do have some premium packages and we do some live classroom sessions and physical books and carbon offset and stuff. But it really is about the community and really helping people in the same way that I've benefited from education in the past. And what I wanted to do for today's session was actually go through, for one, the entire course, but you will have millions of people worldwide that are thinking about starting a business in 2023. And what I wanted to do, and the whole point of why we exist, is to give you the roadmap to do that. So what I'm going to do is go through the entire course, start to finish, but actually walk through all the different ideas and concepts as well. So that if you have even the slightest inkling on maybe doing your own thing or launching your own thing next year, hopefully this will genuinely help, and it'll just give you a flavor for what's included in the book, but then likewise all of the content that's online and stuff as well. So you can join us live on Facebook, YouTube. I actually stopped doing Twitch. I think it just wasn't our audience. It was more, everyone goes on Twitch for gaming, so I kind of stopped doing Twitch. LinkedIn is also our main one, so both on my personal LinkedIn, so hello to everyone if we've never kind of spoken before, and then also on the Roadmap MBA kind of company page, and then lots of other kind of places as well, Twitter. And actually, if you want to, you can also follow us on Instagram as well. So we have a feed there. But the whole point is when we're trying to make business education accessible, is to do it in a way which, no matter if you're on the bus or you're in Thailand or you're in Kenya or Afghanistan, where some of our other learners are, the whole point is that you can join in and learn and make this interactive as well. So if you say hello into the comments, and I am expecting it to be quiet today just because it's the last day before Christmas, so I think everyone has disappeared and gone off to spend wonderful time with their families. But if you are still working or you tune in from wherever you are, if you send me a comment, it should pop up on the screen as well, and I'd love to give you a quick kind of shout out as well. So it's been a really funny one for me this year, just because so much of what we were looking to do was just build everything that you can see. So you got the book, you got the live stream, you got the websites, you've got everything, because there was a certain point when it just didn't exist. And likewise, if you can hear the fire alarm going off, I know it stopped. We all come up against challenges that happen and things set you back and things that aren't perfect. But the truth is, we just kind of have to just do our best and see what happens. And, that happens to me as much as anyone. But the point being that if, you've had maybe some setbacks this year, I know a lot of people are job hunting at the moment, that often it's accepting and understanding that it isn't just you, it's just unfortunately the world that we kind of live in. But actually, if we kind of stick together and do our best, hopefully we can kind of walk through it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through an example and basically walk through the textbook and talk you through the key points. But then likewise, if you have any questions about anything, please kind of feel free to reach out and ask. And these also get clipped up and go onto YouTube as well. Okay, so I'm going to start off. The front cover, kind of fairly plain and simple. What we wanted to do is actually make things really simple and clear, so that actually, especially with business content, if you want to cover a lot of different areas, where do you start? Because the truth is, if you are a partner in a law firm, so you are a trained solicitor, you're exceptionally good at what you do, and you suddenly become a managing partner, it's your job to then decide the strategy for the firm and to go out and win more customers. How do you know how to do that? There's so much stuff out there. So what we really wanted to do with the book is actually just bring everything into one place, from your aims, goals and objectives to business strategy, the skills, leadership and management. But the whole point is bring the whole curriculum, everything you need to know, into one single place. And the truth is, you should be able to just dive straight to what you need most as well. So the other thing that we've really tried hard to do is that if you pick up any business strategy textbook, it's like 700-800 pages. It's really thick, dense theory, which is fantastic if you're into that. But actually, for a lot of people that actually run a small or micro business, you kind of just want the answer because you want to make more money. And that's what we do. That's our whole premise of what we've tried to do, is that we've distilled all the really good theory down to a super concentrated thing that hopefully will help you. But actually, we've tried to keep it kind of super simple. As mentioned, our mission is making business education accessible. So that includes cost, in the fact that we do have completely free tiers for anyone in the world, but then likewise also more affordable options, because that's a major issue. But I never wanted anyone from anywhere in the world to not be able to access skills and information to help them build a better life for themselves if they couldn't afford it. That was a really key driver for me. Accessibility also includes time. So for one, if you have a family, you've got kids, you've got a job, you don't have time to go through, again, this 800-page magical textbook on strategy, because for one, it just doesn't work around your real life. So what we wanted to do was give you the ability to learn in 2 minutes or 2 hours, and just dip in and pick up stuff over time was really important. Accessibility includes web accessibility. So if you have, you might be blind or deaf or that kind of thing. So we've put a massive effort into web accessibility. Or even, for instance, lots of entrepreneurs actually left school at 15, 16, so they don't have an undergraduate degree, which you don't need, by the way. But actually, hi Paul. But my point being that, regardless of your academic background, if you apply to go to Harvard Business School, a lot of traditional MBAs are actually very exclusive. So they won't let you in, even if you can afford to pay. And what we wanted to do is basically just remove every barrier that we could to really help people learn and develop. And this also includes young people as well. So for instance, a lot of traditional business education language is really complicated. There's so much jargon, there's a lot of assumed knowledge. So again, we tried to get rid of all of that and actually just make it as simple as possible. Hi Paul, I was going to say where in the world are you watching from, but I know the answer, it's Chester. Hopefully we'll catch you online later. And yes, no, I appreciate you tuning in and sending a cheeky comment. Again, so what our aim and goal is to give you the complete roadmap to grow your business or career, basically, and help you just go from where you are now to where you want to be. Everyone's aims and goals are genuinely different. So actually, just pick the stuff that's right for you. This is all about following your own path, and actually the CPD certification. So we are CPD certified. So in the UK, we have something called the CPD Association, which is the Continued Professional Development. So this complete course has been vetted. Someone's gone through every single thing. And actually, if you go on a high quality business course here in the UK, chances are you get CPD accreditation from the course. So this course is also accredited to 40 hours of professional development and education. That actually, it's not just something I've made up and just put out into the world, that it has been vetted and checked, and I promise it's all really good. The next really important topic that we cover is actually, it's all about your business skills. As you go through your life and career, you basically, everyone starts at the bottom of the mountain. You start where you might have some core talent in, you might be really artistic and creative, but actually as you go through your career, you gradually learn different skills that actually, when I started my career, I was really good at kind of making stuff and logical thinking as an engineer. I didn't know anything about finance or management. But the point is, as you go through your career, I've basically broken it down into 8 different areas, which are your technical skills or industry knowledge, which actually we can't particularly help with on the course, but that's something you can do. Your personal skills, your personal brand, business strategy, marketing, sales, leadership, and financial intelligence. But the idea is that actually as you go through your career, you gradually get better and better at all of these different areas. And these happen to just be the areas that we also cover on the course. But for anyone who knows anything about marginal gains, actually just getting 10% better across all 8 areas can actually have a 4x improvement. So you can get 4 times better just through getting 10% better across all different areas. If you get 20, 30% better, you can have an 8x improvement. But the point is, we purposely teach all areas of business to give you a good solid base level for your education. That actually what we're looking to do is help you build on your technical knowledge, but actually give you all the stuff that you kind of need to really help you reach whatever your goals and objectives are. But we kind of do it in one place. A lot of people also just want confidence. You have a lot of people that work for themselves. They've done it for a few years. They might be relatively happy with how they're kind of going along. But the truth is, are you doing the right thing? Could you do it better? Could you earn more money? Do you want to just check that your strategy is as good as it could be? Again, you probably don't really want to pay for that. You might want to bounce some ideas off someone. But actually, the whole point of the roadmap is just to give you confidence that whatever you want to do, you're kind of on the right track. Or just to give you some ideas of other stuff that you can do in a way that's very informal. And the whole point is you can pick up the book or just go through the website and just get that little bit of extra confidence, maybe to launch the business, or actually just follow your aims, dreams, and ambitions in a way that it's actually quite hard to do elsewhere. So one of the big things that we really kind of plan from the start is what do you actually want to achieve? The whole first module on the course is actually the more you understand about your aims, goals, and objectives, that's what we're aiming towards. So something that we cover in business strategy is how a good business strategy actually gives you the potential that you have that North Star, you have that thing that you want to aim towards. And then basically all of the decisions that we make will align to that strategy. So for the roadmap, ours is actually the key thing that will make us successful, at least in the short term, is low overheads. So all the decisions that I make to do with the business are, does it increase overhead? No. And actually, will it help us get further forward? Yes, then I'll probably do it. Is where I could, in theory, spend the same amount of money to hire a team to do stuff. But I know, looking at the market, that the overheads is a major thing for us, so that aligns my strategy. But that's only because I have the goal in mind. So what we really want to do is really help you understand for you what actually is a good goal. And then likewise, what are realistic goals for 90, 120, and basically, 2 years. And that's what we kind of look to work towards. This, I think, is a key thing for a lot of people. I'll do a blog post on this. And basically, if you want to start your own business, I respect that you can't read that on the live stream. But again, if you go onto roadmapmba.com, you can create an account completely for free and go on and check this all out and actually just, dive in as much as you want. But basically, yeah, there are 28 different questions to ask yourself if you want to start your own business. So you could be Paul Jan, you could be myself, you could be anyone in the world. And there are key things to really think about actually. What do you want to do? Why do you want to do it? Why do you think you can do it better than anyone else? What are you not happy with what everyone else kind of does? And then also some logical questions about actually, have you worked out what your profit would be per job or per sale? How many sales do you actually need to break even? And then likewise, how much do you have to sell to actually make more money than you do in a job? And the whole point is what we're trying to do is just as a critical friend, just give you the ideas to really think about that. You know what, if you want to start a business, amazing. It is hard, I won't lie, but actually I want you to be successful. So rather than be hit with something that you didn't expect, what we tried to do is just break down the whole idea of launching a business into 28 questions, which you can ask yourself. And the whole point is that you only really actually need to answer your own questions and give confidence to yourself that it's the right thing to do in order to kind of make the leap. But what we want to do is really help clarify that thinking. So if you've ever heard of Ikigai, basically this is building a business or career around your passions. This is really important for everyone because trust me, I love what I'm doing, but I still have days where I'm like, oh, it's so difficult. Do I give up? Do I not give up, etc. And what we want to do with this exercise is actually just work through and figure out what you're good at, what do you love doing, what does the world need, and actually what can you be paid for. And the classic example is that I am famously a terrible singer. I can't sing at all. So if I wanted to become a professional singer, it's probably not going to go very well because actually I'm not very good at it. And the idea is that you want to build a career that it's stuff that you genuinely love doing. What would you do if kind of nobody paid you, but you kind of do it anyway. So in many ways, the creation of live streams and tech and stuff, I love the techie side to this, that in many ways this is like a hobby that I probably kind of would do this. And I did start my YouTube before I ever started any of this. But I do kind of love that. And what we want to do is just capture that thing for you that, for instance, you might love creative writing. And what we're looking to do is how can we build that into your career or business so that if you're a copywriter, you get the ability to do creative writing just for other people, but you get paid for it. And the idea is this is a really important decision and something to think about, because anyone can start a business. So that I could start a business to sell marker pens, but I don't care about marker pens. That actually, if the competition set up and they had a better pen that was cheaper, they'd probably put me out of business, or I'd just give up and stop doing it because I don't care about it. Is where I genuinely do care about business education and trying to make a better world, because it's stuff that I wished I had growing up. That I probably will keep doing this forever because actually I'm really passionate about it, and that's because I've arguably found my ikigai, and what we want to do is really help you find yours as well. Other people we accept, and we understand that actually if you're in your career or you're just a business manager, most things might be great, but you might want to either accelerate your career because you want to get that next promotion, or you have a team and you just want to improve sales. So we have a few pages of actually just different ideas of things that we want to do and you want to build, that not everyone wants to launch a business, but actually you might want to get promoted next year. So again, we kind of built that in and made it a key part of the course, that really understand the different aims and goals and ambitions for different people, that actually you're not excluded. It's not designed at just launching a business. I am passionate about sustainability. We made a massive effort after version 1 to ditch all plastic from the kind of course. So actually we have these beautiful recycled cardboard envelopes. The paper again is uncoated stock, so it's easily recyclable. And actually the whole point of what we haven't launched it yet, but we will soon, is that everything to date we've shipped physical packs around the world to 36 different countries, which likewise does take a lot of paper. There are carbon emissions when we digitally send stuff, but it takes a lot of time and it's really expensive for me to do, especially when we do it for free. So with our new portal and website, we're going to have a completely digital offer where actually someone in Afghanistan or Kenya or America or anywhere where maybe the postal system isn't as good as it is in other parts of the world can get access to everything completely for free straight away, and I can gift that. But the point is we've removed even further the carbon emissions of doing that activity, if that makes sense. But it is a key driver for everything we're looking to do, just about the sustainability of the planet, but then likewise communities and cultures, and really trying to just do the right thing as well. Okay. So module 1 is actually about understanding your aims and goals. As we mentioned before, this is all about really understanding what is it you're actually looking to do. That it's very easy to be a busy fool and you go about and you actually do loads of activity and you launch a business and you hire a team and you do all this stuff. But often, and this is very common, sorry, my throat's a bit funny today, it must be a Christmas thing, is that you can actually create a business which doesn't deliver what you want it to. So you might want to work 4 days a month, was the joke I always used to make. But the idea is you want to live on a beach and travel the world and stuff like that. But it's very easy to actually find yourself making a business which actually needs your attention every day, and you don't actually end up at the goal where you want to be. So the first thing we do on the course is actually to really understand what defines success for you, what you actually want to do. Because again, success does not have to be financial. A lot of really successful people, like the community goal is actually the biggest, most important thing for me to achieve. That success for me is actually kind of social impact. It's got nothing to do with financials. Yes, I do need to pay my bills, but actually there are more stuff involved that I really want to do. So that's important to me. So when we're building the plan about what we want to achieve, this is really important to kind of get this stuff down. Then we go through about your dream career goals and then likewise your dream home life. And what we're really looking to do is we're building something towards something called SMART targets, which everyone will have heard of, which is how we actually put some actions in place, but then also the lead actions and lag measures to really kind of measure activity. So lead actions, for instance, are if you know the goal that you want to do and you know the important things, the steps to get there. The analogy I always use is to do weight loss. That likewise, if the important thing is you might want to lose a stone in weight. And a lot of people will do bits and bobs and they might measure themselves on the scales and then they get frustrated if it does or doesn't happen. The whole concept of lead actions is not actually to worry so much about weighing on the scales. If you know that if you do a fitness class or you go for a run or you go for a walk or you go to the gym and lift weights or whatever you want, that will help you get closer to the goal. So actually measure yourself on the lead action, which is the ability to go out and just go for a run. Or for me, I do a Peloton kind of spinning class or play basketball. But I don't worry about the weight on the scales. I worry about, do I turn up and play or do I turn up for the session? Because that is something that I can control. And the idea is for your business, you might have ambitions to sell £1 million of product next year. But rather than just hope about hitting that goal, what we do on the course, especially in the sales modules, is work all the way back to say, well, actually, if our unit profit is £200, how many products do we need to sell to hit the £1 million target? What does that work out to per month? And then per week, per day? And then actually you go into, well, actually, if we make 5 phone calls and get 1 sale, okay, so then how many phone calls do we need to make? And the whole point is the lead action is knowing how many phone calls to make per day to help you achieve your goal. And you can measure that because you know every day if you only made 2 or you made none, the next day you need to catch up. But the idea is you know you're not going to hit your target if you're behind your lead action, as opposed to just hope that you're magically going to hit this figure without knowing what builds towards it. So this is just something that we want to build together on the course and really kind of drill that in. And this also includes for your career as well. That likewise, we go through an exercise to help articulate actually, is there anyone in your career or network that you really kind of look up to and aspire to, where you look at them, you look at them and you think, you know what, I really respect that person. And then what we do is that we look at the behaviors for that person to actually say, well, actually, what is it that makes that person the person that they are? What is it that they do which, makes them a great leader? And are these things that we can actually copy? So for instance, do they turn up on time? Do they dress smartly? Are they well knowledged and well researched on their industry topic? Do they treat people well? Do they listen to people? Do they shout out friends from Thailand who comment on the stream? The idea is, for your career, there will be people that could be your boss, it could be your boss's boss, it could be someone you've seen online. Are there things that they do that you recognize that is good behavior to follow? And the point is, these are lead actions that you can follow for your own career. That likewise, just working hard is a really important thing. But you will get people out there that think that they should just magically get promoted and get all of the goodies without actually doing the things which will help them get there. And the whole point is that, again, this isn't just for people who are looking to launch and grow a business. You might be a teacher, and actually you might have ambitions to become a deputy head teacher, whichever. And there are things that it's really important to do and learn. It might be learning about budgeting and stuff, but that is an action that you can do to help you progress your career. But it's down to you to really understand what those are and what you want to achieve. I won't go through everything on the course because otherwise this will be a 4-hour session. But again, emotional anchors, especially this time of year, I think is a really important concept to kind of talk about. So emotional anchors are emotional beliefs and values which actually will help you achieve your goal. We talk about this in leadership and management, but you have, according to Tony Robbins, 2 different types. You have moving towards values, which are things that we want, desirable stuff like the bigger house, bigger car, promotion, more pay, etc. But you also have moving away values, which is actually like fear of failure, losing your house, embarrassment, etc. And different people are motivated in different ways. And actually for me, something that I found as well as I went through my career, at the start of my career, arguably in my 20s, it was I had the ambition to get the nice car, to get the house, to get the promotion, to get the job title, which was 100% the right thing that I wanted at that time in my life. Now, as I've kind of gone through, And I must admit, I had a really big fear of failure for a long time. I thought, well, actually, I felt that I had talent and I wanted to use it, but I was worried about would I ever fulfill what I wanted to kind of do. Is when now that I have a car, I have a house, I have a business, it's the fear of losing it all is really important. That ironically, I have no fear about losing the business. So I'm quite happy to do the best I can over the course of the next 5, 10 years and just see what happens. But I would never want to lose the house. That is an absolute red line for me. So the emotional anchor is actually you go through the exercise in your head to actually say, well, look, what would it feel like actually if you got the letter from the bank to say, look, we're going to foreclose on your house, you're going to lose your house, you're going to be evicted, and everything you've ever worked for is going to go up in dust. And because of that, your wife's probably going to leave you and you're going to be embarrassed, etc. And your whole career and life is just in a mess. That's not a very nice thing to imagine and kind of future pace and almost, I think through about how this is going to impact your life. But what it does do is that I know that doing these live streams is actually, it's a major important one of my lead actions just to kind of get the word out there about what we're looking to do. That when it's the 23rd of December, it's Friday morning, I'm tired, my voice is sore, I don't really want to do the live stream. The fear of losing everything that I've worked so hard to get is like, okay, I'll get on, I'll do it. And another great one as well, midway through the year when I came back from America, I had a bit of a health scare, and it turned out that I had a fatty liver. But until I knew what it was, I was worried, was it cancer? Was it a tumor? Was it a problem with my heart? I just didn't know because I kept getting these like dizzy spells. But basically I went to the doctors, they basically said just lose a bit of weight around my liver. I was quite fat apparently, so I started to do the fitness classes. But there was a point where I was genuinely worried and I didn't want to die because I was like, look, I'm 39 years old. I'm too young to die. I don't want to give up on all this stuff that I really want to do. So as my bargain, yes, I will happily lose some weight. I'll eat less McDonald's. I will do the fitness classes and do what I can. And that is the emotional anchor that I use. But for you, it could be your family, it could be your kids, it could be maybe a history of addiction, it could be anything. But the idea is find what is important to you, and we can use that as motivation to actually propel and go through all this action, because to learn all this stuff isn't necessarily easy, and it's even harder to implement it. But if you know why you're doing it, it will genuinely make a huge difference. So then we go on to setting your business goals and personal goals. This is really important. Again, we don't have to hit all of these. One of my big ones that I would love to do is actually to give a TED talk or a TEDx talk. I'd love to do it next year. So the lead action for that is, how many people have I actually reached out to ask, what's the process to apply to be a TEDx speaker? The answer is one, but it's one person that actually looks after multiple events. But the truth is, if I'm really passionate about achieving that goal, I need to reach out to every TEDx speaker in the world that does events, because actually that will increase my chance of making it happen. And it's this kind of level when we break down your bigger goal all the way through to lead actions to do this month. It's really important to really be able to break that down just to understand how can you achieve your personal goals for whatever it is that you want to do, which could be launch a business. So the 2-3 year goal could be to launch a business. 1 year goals to do your planning and figure actually save up, can you afford to do it? And then actually the lead actions to make it happen. Or for your personal self, you have positive behaviors. What do you want to do more of? So mine was health and fitness, was really important. So I go through about what's important to do that. And actually, what are the negative behaviors that I want to do less of? And although I do go more than I should, it is fast food. I love it. I love food. I can't help it. That yes, I could have 10% body fat and be absolutely ripped, but I love food too much. But I still know that that's a negative behavior that I need to get better at. And the whole point is, whatever this is for you, that's the only thing that matters. Okay. So the next thing is about the skills, and this is on module 2, that people actually look for. I hired someone last month for one of the companies that I work with. But again, when you look to hire people in their career or partner with someone, so again, I've got some ambitious stuff for the business. I don't just look at technical skill set. who has the skills to do what I want. There's values and things that I want people to portray if I want to hire them and work with them. I do the same when I'm looking to hire people to present on this channel, but there are things that investors, business partners and employers genuinely look for. And what we wanted to do is talk about them because, again, maybe if you're not as strong in some of the areas, these are things that you can work on. Communication is a really important one that I want to get better at, and I will work hard to do that. But actually, there are actually 8, I think, that we cover. The ability to make decisions is a really important one. The more senior you get in your career, essentially, you get more and more, you get asked more and more to make more decisions. And these decisions genuinely will impact people's lives, the profitability of the business. You could lose customers, and even health and safety. It's people's lives. And then likewise, but if you hate making decisions or certain types of pressured decisions, maybe certain career paths aren't for you. But the point is to think through and just raise awareness of these things. Commitment is mega important. So for instance, if you want to launch a business and you want to go out and raise some money, so you want to raise $1 million to help you launch the business or launch that startup, what investors want to see is that, are you passionate about this thing? Are you going to drive this into the floor and really do everything you humanly can for the next 5-10 years to make it a success? Or are you going to take my money, burn through it, and then just disappear off onto a beach somewhere and then move on to your next idea? Because I want to know that you're in the trenches with me. I want to know that you're in this battle to really make this a success. And actually showing commitment is something that you can only prove. That for me, one of the targets that I set was that the fact of turning up every Friday morning, as long as I'm humanly able to do so, it just shows commitment to the cause. That my hope is, even if people don't like me and hate what I'm doing with the roadmap, hopefully at least they admit I'm committed, and I will keep, turning up to present on the channel when nobody comments, and I can't even tell at the moment if anyone's watching. But the idea is, it's that commitment to the cause is really important to me. And this again goes back to the Ikigai that we mentioned earlier on. You've got flexibility, time management, embracing responsibility, and loyalty are all key things to do. Leadership, we do actually have a whole module on leadership and management, but there are really important tools and things that you can use to demonstrate, which actually, when you're looking within a business, that who are your future leaders? Who do you want to promote? Who are your rising stars? Some great actions that we talk about is to lead by example, basically look to improve, go the extra mile. Always ask how you can help within your team or within your boss. Do what you say, give praise. Also take the blame. If something goes wrong, a good leader will take the blame and protect their team. Not everyone does this, but again, if you want to demonstrate good, solid leadership, when people recruit for CEOs, yes, it's great to have the technical skills to know how to manage financial accounts, but it's the values is the real thing of what people really want, is the thing to look for. Empower and support others, be a strong leader, and actually continue to learn. One of the really key traits of the most successful people in the world is that they never just give up and plateau and just stop learning. They always want to learn new stuff and new skills. And actually, if that's something that you want to follow, we do as well. Then likewise, creativity and problem solving is really important because the world changes all the time. In 2022, even just from the war in Ukraine, we had massive supply chain problems. In 2023, people are expecting a fairly deep recession where the access to finance could properly dry up. Your customers could dry up. You might have to pivot the business. But again, the ability to be creative and solve these problems is what people look for in leadership. That if you run your own business, nobody's going to tell you what to do. You have to solve these things for yourself. That likewise, you might have ambitions to start a business, but you need the ability to learn and pivot and adapt. Because I promise you, in the next 3 months, the world's going to change, or your customers might change, or your clients might change. And all we're doing is continually learning, adapting, learn, adapt. And that's kind of both part of the fun, but it's also a really important skill to learn. So next, this is a relatively new topic. It's all about your personal and professional brand. So what we're talking about here is that in your career, it's what do people think about you and what do people say about you behind your back. And what we're looking to do is that if you imagine you're in a career and you're a chef and you're passionate about food and you have a dream to open your own restaurant one day, you might be the best chef in the world and you create these incredible dishes, but if nobody knows you exist, they can't hire you and open a restaurant together. Likewise, in your career, you could be the best copywriter in the world, the best marketer in the world, or the best artist in the world, and the stuff that you paint is incredible. But if you don't tell people and share your passion with the world and put it on Instagram and actually just get people to talk about what you do, nobody's going to hire you, you won't win awards, and you probably won't achieve the stuff that you want to. So actually having a conscious awareness on your personal and professional brand, even if you do something very technical like an accountant, we want people to think, you know what, that guy is the best accountant in the country. He really knows his stuff, he's really respected. In the UK, you have this guy called Martin Lewis that now is very rich and famous. But actually, he did that because he talks about money issues and how they relate to real people, that now on the TV all the time, he's the go-to guy to talk about money and financial issues. But the point is that is all his brand, that there could be 1,000 accountants out there that actually know more stuff than him, but he's built the brand. And the point is that if you want to launch a business or grow in your career, this is really important to both have a control on. That yes, some people hate the idea of social media and branding and stuff, but the truth is when you apply for that next job and there's two candidates, one, they're both equally qualified, but one you kind of get a feel for the way they look, the way they sound, the way they dress, that they're a world expert in what you're hiring for, they're more likely to get the job than the person who's equally qualified on paper but doesn't have any of that magical stuff. And when you're looking to build your personal brand, it wants to be authentic, relevant, and unique. The authentic, that it's genuinely you. So it's not just an act, you actually know all of this stuff. Why is it relevant to your audience? That hopefully when I do these, people that might tune in might be interested in growing their business or career, that hopefully there's some value that we can share to spark that idea, therefore it's relevant. And then unique is actually, why is it unique to you? So myself as a management consultant, I get paid to do this stuff all day, every day. That likewise, I have a unique lived experience also as a mechanical engineer, that I'm very good at solving problems, and it's the way that I look to do this stuff. Plus I wrote the book on it. But I have a different viewpoint to someone else, that if you want the other person, hire the other guy. But the idea is what we want to do is make your brand unique to you, that actually we want people to really value that, and it's your knowledge and experience from your lens as opposed to just general knowledge and experience on a topic. We go through your personal brand in the 4 different areas. So you have appearance, behavior, communication, and digital. That likewise, if I did this in a t-shirt and shorts, it might not be as credible as if I wore a full business suit. But the truth is, I don't wear a business suit every day. This is exactly what I wear every single day. So therefore it's authentic to me and it's what I feel comfortable in. But then likewise, the way that you communicate and actually your digital presence is really important. That what we try and do is teach all of these different things, both to use it positively, to actually help you get the word out about what you want to share in your message, but then likewise have a conscious awareness of your digital footprint, that there might be stuff online that maybe you don't want an employer or a business partner to see, in which case maybe hide it or make it exclusive or whichever. But it's just having a conscious awareness of all this stuff that we want to talk through. I'm just going to skip through a lot of this stuff. So business strategy is what we cover in modules 4 to 6. Business strategy is really important because what we're essentially looking to do is that, imagine those 5 dots are 5 business decisions that you have to make within your business or career. Without a clearly defined strategy, you could make that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. The idea is all of the decisions that you make are good individual decisions. So actually, there's nothing wrong with your thought process one at a time for the 5 different decisions that you make. Good business strategy means that for the 5 same decisions that you have and you need to make within your business, good strategy means that all of the decisions pull in the same direction. And if we have any engineers watching from a vector point of view, what you want is every person in your business and every decision you make pulling in the same direction. And what that will do is really help you achieve so much more than if you still make just generally good decisions, but there's no real driving force or North Star behind it. Good strategy is all about having that clear mission, the clear goal, and knowing the actions and the steps that will help you get there. So it's something that we cover right at the start of module 4 on business strategy. And then we go into lots of different stuff to really help you achieve and make that goal happen. And I'm not going to go through them all, but it's just something that I always wanted to kind of talk about. But the big thing with any business strategy is to take your time, review your environment, because when the world changes and your environment changes, your strategy has to change. You want to learn and improve, and then likewise, this is something you should repeat quite often, that you'll probably do stuff in your business and then you'll find some stuff that works and some stuff that doesn't. And the idea is, what a good business person does is learn and see what's working and do more of that, and find the stuff that isn't working and maybe do less of that. And you go through this process, but the point is you can't really rush it, but it is actually looking at the world and see what's about to change. So for instance, the fact that we have a completely free business course is a key driver that in a major global recession, hopefully will be more attractive than in a world when we've had virtually 0% interest rates and economic growth and prosperity for the past kind of 12 years. That I know that staying in the game and actually trying to build what we're trying to do will hopefully become more and more attractive as the world goes to shit in the next few years. That actually that is all part of the environment, and it's a key part of just understanding how the world might change. But the point is, it will be the same for whatever you do as well. So then as we go into module 4 on business strategy, timing is something that's really important, because a prime example that for whatever it is that you do, especially in tech where there's a huge fundamental change and something new kind of coming in, there's a massive period where you can be too early. So you could argue that Facebook or Meta now, they've rarely gone all in on the metaverse, but actually tiny, I was going to say 1,000% of people actually use it and operate in the metaverse at the moment. But what they're betting on is that on this growth curve, at some point it will go huge. And basically almost, if you've ever seen the film Ready Player One, what they're banking on is that everyone in the world will have the headset on and be immersed in this massive digital magical world. But the point being, there's a huge tail here where you can be mega early in what you want to do. Then there's massive growth. And then you also get to a point where things have kind of plateaued. So thinking of, again, pen manufacture has probably plateaued. That there's a point when the marker pen will have been brand new. It had just been invented. And actually, as the market was about to grow massively, if you had the good pen, as the market grows, you can make a lot of money. As ironically, once the market is saturated with stuff, it's then very hard to launch a new type of marker pen because people don't really care between them. But the point is, timing your company is really important. Zoom and video conferencing is a great example on this, because actually during COVID, the world kind of had to stay at home and find a new way to communicate. That they spent 8 to 10 years building the platform on their relatively flat curve where they were trying to talk about video conferencing, but nobody really wanted to use it. Until COVID hit, and then woof, everyone in the world suddenly wanted to use and download their platform, that they were in the right place at the right time. But then if you wanted to launch a new video conferencing platform now, you've got Teams, you've got Zoom, you've got all of these different other options that already exist, that arguably you're very late to the curve. So if you still want to do that, there are ways to do that, but it's then about brand positioning and how we actually position your company to be something different in the market space. And it's a conscious idea that actually timing your business launch and how we position for that launch actually is really important. Okay, I won't go through some of the other stuff, but what we essentially look to do is give you a whole range of tools and techniques and things to consider to really just help you build a better, profitable business. This is really important. You might not be able to see it on the screen, but basically different businesses are busy at different times of the year. So this is Christmas time here in the UK and a lot of the Western world, that you will have businesses which are solely built around Christmas, which could mean that they're really quiet in the summer. So what you would look to do from a business strategy point of view is balance the seasonality of the business. That actually are there things that you can do within your skill set or whichever to make money all year round, or similar, if you have lumpy revenue or you have a project-based business, if all of your revenue comes in like 2 or 3 major projects a year, so for conferences and stuff, this is probably kind of true. What we want to do is find a good solid base layer revenue, which will just mean that you can cover your bills all year round, so that when you have the big spike in revenue where you make a ton of money really quickly, that you don't lose money for the rest of the year. And the way to do that is, again, to look at your assets, look at your skill sets, look at other things that you could sell to your potential customers. And even if it's sold at a relatively cheap price, if it fulfills the job to cover your base load stuff, so you know you get paid every month and you don't lose money, therefore it has huge value. So what we want to do is just share these ideas and concepts, because again, if you're straight out of school and you've never been taught this stuff, how are you ever going to learn it? So that's what we kind of try and cover on the roadmap. Module 5 and 6, we essentially go into more detail. So what we start to talk about is sales, go into more detail, strategy, competitors, innovation, exports. Risks is something that people almost never talk about when you look at business strategy stuff. Everyone always focuses on the sexy stuff like sales and marketing, when actually, if you've actually ran a proper business, and especially in offshore energy, which is my background, risk is the biggest thing that everyone talks about, because it's the risk of if it goes wrong or doesn't do what you say, etc. It's your risks that will probably put you out of business, ironically, not sales, although you do have sales risks. And what we want to do is actually just identify stuff that could put you out of business, and actually, are there ways and means to mitigate that risk to really reduce the chance of it happening? And this is what a good business person does. You look at all of this really important stuff to really help you just decide what to do in the future for your business. Module 6 on strategy, we go into more detail still. So we look at how do you actually innovate with your own strategy, your own values to communicate these. Actually having a balanced portfolio. So for instance, if you currently sell, I'm going to go back to marker pens again, but you sell one particular product, but 99% of your sales are with one customer, that's a lot of risk, because actually if you lose that one customer, your business is gone. So the idea of a balanced portfolio is having a spread of customers, that it's much more valuable to have 5 customers each at 20% than one at 100%. But that also is true with geographies as well. So for instance, if you sell into one particular market and then something happens in that market, so say if you sold just into the UK, then Brexit happens and suddenly it's a lot harder to sell into Europe or other areas, that can have a massive risk on your business. So what you ideally want to do is have a broad breadth of portfolio so that you sell into Latin America and the Middle East and Africa and Russia and America, with the idea being that if one of those has something happen, so Russia goes to war, therefore you have trade embargoes, rather than losing 100% of your business, you just trade more in the other 4. But the idea is we want people to know, to at least have a conscious awareness of having a balanced portfolio of their clients, because actually it's really important if things start to kind of go wrong. Investment, I think, is a really important one. Because a lot of people, when they're looking to plan for the future, they'll have ambitions to maybe do new stuff next year and to grow their business 20%. But the important thing is to actually know, well, how do I do that? So a lot of people I know work for themselves. They could be a freelancer, and you could be a freelance videographer, a copywriter, a marketer, whichever. And the challenge you have, often if you work for yourself, the number of hours that you put in times your hourly rate kind of equals the reward that you get at the end of the day. That's fine if that's what you want to do and that's how you choose to run the business. But actually, investment is about actually, for the number of hours that you put in, is there a way to multiply that effort in a way to achieve a greater outcome? And a prime example, if you're watching this right now, is that I put in, say, 2 hours effort to do this live stream today. But actually, because I've invested in the live stream studio, the cameras, the streaming software, etc., in theory, I could hit 20,000 people from that 2 hours effort. So in the traditional form, I could spend 2 hours on the phone and I could probably ring 10 people, 5 people within 2 hours. But actually, if you invest in your brand and your social media and stuff, you can hit 1,000 times that through actually investing in certain key areas. And the idea is that for your business, whatever it is, it might be really expensive to get to that point. But once you have it, if you put 1,000 hours in, you could get 20 times the effort out or the reward out based on what you've done. And that's actually through actually investing properly into the business. For me, we've got the new web portal and we have the app, which is hopefully going to launch realistically January, February next year. But again, huge investment, but actually it can be downloaded 100 million times. And the same amount of effort that I put in to do the live stream, I could have 1 million viewers and the reward is much greater. But that is all to do with the investment that I've actually put into the process and the software and stuff. Versus if I just stayed as a management consultant to spend the same 2 hours, might bill someone £100 an hour, so that's £200. But actually the difference could be £200 versus £200,000. And it's all about the investment back into your business and stuff that you could do that could pay off. It might not pay off, we don't know. But just the idea of starting to think about stuff that you could do to really help you make that next step or career. And again, even in your career, if you think, well, actually, I work in a law firm, what's the need? I can't really invest in anything. It could even just be yourself, your learning and development, your clothes, yourself. So, taking time to actually look after yourself, go to a health spa, whichever. Investing in yourself is a really important thing to do. But the point is, it doesn't matter who you are. This is just a concept to actually really think through. If you know what your aim and goal is, that what you want to achieve, there are things to consider, even if it's about your own personal strategy, which will help you do it. Okay. So then we go through and we use this to actually build your own kind of growth strategy, which is really important. And what we want to do is just get down all of these really great ideas on paper so that you can actually go back and review them, refresh them. This is a big thing for me. A lot of people might go through their career and they might work for someone that they think, that person's trying to hold me back. I'm more ambitious. They just want to put me in a box and they want to just make money off me, but I really want to do something else. This is a major driver. I had this at the start of my career where I had all these great ambitions to do stuff. I felt like people were kind of holding me back. And what we want to do, the sign of any kind of good marketing, is that you show that you understand the consumer, the person that you're trying to talk to. And actually, if you can communicate the same feelings and passions and stuff that they do, hopefully they associate that with your brand. Module 7 is all about marketing. So actually, marketing is a massively underestimated and really important thing for every business in the world. Marketing is essentially what the world thinks about you and how we control what we understand about the customer, understanding the needs of the customer, the thoughts of the customer, everything about that, and actually go through your funnel to actually improve awareness that you even exist. Then you've got awareness, consideration, intention, desire, and purchase. And something that I actually thought this morning, so we've literally just had the Qatar World Cup. So it's rumored to have cost like $300 billion for Qatar to host the World Cup and build all the stadiums and do all the stuff that they wanted to do. But the truth is, through what they've done and the way that they've worked with influencers to try and sell the dream on holidays and tourism to Qatar, I now have an awareness of it because I'm talking about it. And actually, I'd never ever thought to go to Qatar as a holiday venue. Consideration, I watched a vlog this morning from someone called Mike Malak that does like vloggy kind of American fun stuff with Logan Paul. And what they'd obviously done is pay him to go and show the place off. And it looks all right. It looks very similar to Dubai. But the point is, in terms of Qatar as a country and a tourist destination, yes, there's a lot of stuff that I actually don't like about what they do in their human rights record and stuff, which kind of kills it. But at least in terms of Qatar as a country, their marketing, it's now on my radar. I would consider it, but actually I'd probably pick somewhere else that I have more affiliation to. But it was just a very relevant thing that I wanted to talk about. And then likewise, the way that both marketing and sales interact together is really important. It's something that a lot of people never think about. Often you have people that just consider themselves as salespeople or marketing people, when actually the two are hugely linked. That it's just something that I wanted to kind of talk about. So we go through all the different techniques and the different theories behind how to do good marketing. Brand positioning is how you position your company. So how do you set yourself apart from the competition, which are all out there? In the example, we actually use supermarkets because it's quite an easy one that people understand. But it'll be the same regardless of whatever you do. That what brand positioning does, it allows you to say, look, this is where we sit in the market and this is how we're different to everyone else, which is really kind of important. We then go into about 20 pages about understanding the customer. The most important thing that any business should ever do is understand the customer, understand their needs, wants, desires, what do they buy, what do they not buy, what works, what doesn't work. Because this is stuff that we all need to then play back to people based on this is what your whole foundation of your business is built on. So you go into customer profiles, customer insights, finding your niche, and then we go into things about writing your actual kind of first marketing strategy so that as we go through that, you know what to do. So if you're asked to build or write a marketing strategy, this is a great way to do that, to guide that. We want to communicate the emotional benefits of what you do. That yes, you might provide a functional product which does stuff, but the really best companies like Nike, they don't just sell plastic shoes. They buy you into the dream of athletic performance and affiliation with your favorite sports stars and sports teams. That they sell the whole dream and the aspiration of what you might want to become, not just plastic shoes. And this is something that's really important to do. And it's similar to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that the absolute best thing that you can do is help people achieve kind of global impact. And actually just helping people live their best lives. That is something that we want to do with the roadmap. It's to help people, empower them to help grow their business or career in a way that they might not have access to otherwise. And this is something that we want to do. And we focus on how we help people do that, as opposed to just say that we provide business information, which would be the functional level of the product. Different ways to communicate. We go into SWOT and PESTLE analysis, which goes back into actually how we review the world and what happens around us. And then we go through lots of other stuff, which I'll kind of skip through as well. There's a guy called Robert Cialdini that has an excellent book called Influence, which I definitely recommend. It's one of my favorites. And basically it's called 6 universal principles of social influence. And these are things like social proof. Social proof is how if you have a product that 100 million people buy around the world, like Coca-Cola, it's probably pretty good. And what you're looking to do is help prove and demonstrate that actually if other people buy your product, it's probably quite good. One of the biggest challenges that we have at the roadmap at the moment and for the next year or 2 years is to build our social proof. It's why we invested in our Trustpilot kind of service. And it's that public review, it's the endorsement, and it's the credibility that is one of the most important things that you can ever build. And if you go onto Amazon, for instance, and you want to buy any product, it's often got a star rating. And chances are you're going to buy the one that has 4 or 5 stars, not the same product that has 2 stars. And that is all social proof. That's our feeling that other people have checked and reviewed this thing and we're probably more likely to buy the one which is better. Reciprocation is actually about how when people do a good deed for us that we kind of pay them back. Commitment and consistency is knowing and understanding the views and things that people have about a product or service that actually people often want to stay consistent with their publicly held views and how we can use that as marketers to help communicate. And actually your authority or an expert, what we want to do in your personal brand is have people think about, that person really seems to know what they're doing about live streaming or business or strategy or whichever. And what we really want to do is have you be seen as an authority or an expert on a particular topic, because then that's how we build the brand. So Martin Lewis is seen as an authority or an expert on money and finances. And actually that's why people go to him for the different things. There's a chap called Joe Wicks that does fitness stuff in the UK. There will be thousands of fitness instructors out there, but he is the go-to person with the brand that is seen as an authority or an expert on a particular topic. And that's what we really want to build for you or your business. So when we've set right at the start your aims, goals, ambitions, and what you want to achieve, we've built the strategy, we've kind of gone through the marketing to understand the customer, what we want to do and achieve. Now we get into the sales approaches. So this is when we actually want to start to reach out to people to try and sell them, to both take them down the sales funnel, to actually go to get them to, to actually purchase our product. And the whole point of good marketing and good sales is that actually what we're looking to do is increase the conversion rate at each level of the sales funnel, and actually be amazed at how big a difference it can have if through better marketing and communication and different things. Actually, two great examples, you can achieve 3 times, 10 times the revenue through doing things properly and having a proper sales process versus just not really understanding what these things are. So I'm just gonna pick up my pen. And actually just kind of winging it. And again, that's part of the thing where you have billions of people worldwide that run their own business, but actually just having a increased conscious awareness on what a sales process and sales pipeline is will actually help them achieve it more. So that's part of the reason why we talk about it. I won't bore you with all this. I'm going to kind of skip through because I am kind of conscious of time. But basically what I'm trying to share is actually what we've tried to do is go through and explain all different levels, what is involved with sales, what is strategy, what is sales qualifying, and actually go through to give you tips and advice to help your company sell more, and actually go through the process of presenting and doing your sales presentation, your first kind of outreach. Then you have sales presentation and business meetings to actually help you convert customers. And that's about rapport and mirroring and body language and different things that you want to do. Then we go through into high value technical selling. Sales closing, again, is what are we actually trying to achieve, and how do you get people just across the line to actually purchase your product is a really important part of the whole process. That actually what we want to do is teach techniques of how to do that. And then likewise, when you overcome sales objections and different things which actually will always stop you from actually people buying your product. We talk about the social side of business, because actually this is often massively underestimated. If people like you, they're more likely to buy your stuff. And again, people want to get to know you a little bit. So nowadays with the digital world, a lot of people are doing more social stuff, but you can't actually beat good solid face-to-face interaction at different events and that kind of thing. And then leadership and management is module 13. You can see that we've covered a huge amount of ground here. And again, the whole point is to give you the complete roadmap to grow your business or career. And the point is that within a single course, what we want to do is just give you everything that you need, that you can still cherry pick and go straight to the stuff that interests you most. But at least you've got the reference either on your phone, on an app, or on your bookshelf that you can go back and check and learn different stuff to really help you make that next step. So we go through a lot of different techniques that if you're brought in as the new MD or CEO, how do you assign responsibilities? How do you manage cash? How do you really kind of get the team on board for what you're looking to do? And what we do is go through all the different techniques of different people to actually get ownership and talk about different stuff within the business to help get your team to deliver your plan to help you do what you want. And again, leadership does not have to just come from the very top of a business. You can demonstrate leadership as an apprentice at 16. You come in and you work hard and you listen and you learn and you treat people with respect. And I promise you that people will actually see that and they will recognize that you are a future leader within the business. It's not just about authority and the job title, it's how you act, and it's something we wanted to kind of talk about. We then actually touch on mental health, and we do this not as a replacement for anything else out there, but in the sphere of business education and guidance. Everyone always says do more and hustle culture and work harder and do stuff, but the truth is we all have a threshold, and what we try and do is just share the idea that between 0 and 10 on your stress level, if you were to plot your average month, where do you tend to sit? So if your average month is around a 5 or a 6, that's probably quite normal, where, okay, it's not ideal, but it's not the end of the world, and you can actually sustain that level for a long amount of time. And so if you find yourself at an 8 or a 9 or a 10 just on your stress level where it's horrible every single day, the truth is you're probably going to burn out very quickly, but also you're just not enjoying it. And the idea of this exercise is just to share the idea that if you kind of know that you're not enjoying it and it keeps happening all the time, perhaps it's the right time to make a change. And it's something that often nobody ever talks about. If you go into a bookshop, you will have books on mental health, but it should, for me, be part of a business curriculum, that part of the hustle culture to always do more. I don't think it's necessarily correct. So what we wanted to do is just kind of touch on it as something to think about for your own stuff. And then as we kind of come into the end of the course, one of the big things that if you speak to any business leader, they always say that they wish they would have learned sooner is financial intelligence. What are profit and loss accounts? What are balance sheets? What are cash flow statements? And actually what we want to do is on a single double page spread, just give you enough knowledge to give you confidence that if in your career you're suddenly asked to start to look at the P&L for your business, you kind of know what to look for, you know where the skeletons are hidden. And it's not to cover every aspect of financial intelligence and quick ratios and current ratios and all this clever stuff that you can do, but it's just to give you confidence, to give you a good solid base load around profit and loss statements, balance sheets and management accounts. What are they? How do you read them? How do you get value from them? And again, what we're looking to do is give you the roadmap to help you grow and progress your business or career. That yes, you might go on to bigger, better things in the future and do a traditional MBA or just a particular finance course, which is awesome. But again, if you go right back to the start of the course when we showed the mountain and the 8 different areas, if you can actually build a good solid base load of knowledge across a range of areas, it will make you so much more valuable and effective in your job that actually that's what we're looking to kind of share. Cash flow. And then what we wanted to do in module 16 is actually just kind of wrap up, because something I'd never seen before and we wanted to do with the roadmap is that if you go into any bookstore, you actually have sales books, strategy books, marketing books, management books, etc. And I've never seen anyone actually bring together how you can use sales strategies with business strategy to make them both better. And the idea is what we wanted to do is show across all of the 16 modules on the course what techniques did we teach, but actually how they can all work together to make each other better. And what we hope to do is just gel together a really nice mesh that when we do a recap on the whole course, you realize, well, actually the tools and the techniques that we used here can actually be used in different areas. And actually when you know that, it can make you a lot better about what you do. And I personally never seen anyone do this before, and it was something that we wanted to kind of focus on with the roadmap. And last but not least was just some what I class as one-page worksheets. I remember when I was 33 and I got my first managing director job, you go in day one to a new business and it's your job to grow or turn around that business. But the truth is, where do you start? There's so much stuff to do and it's really difficult to do, that there wasn't, as far as I was aware, a single roadmap just to help you do that. So what we wanted to do was just give you one-page worksheets to use that if you have, I call this the one-day business turnaround. But the point is to get a really good handle on different businesses quickly. There are things that you can do, and this is all here just to help you go through those steps. 7 steps to help you grow a business. This is useful for everyone. So this is industry best practice on that if you have a business and you have a team and you want to get everyone behind the mission, what's the best way to do that? Well, actually, it's this, and we've broken it down, and it's ready to help you do that. And again, you can log on to roadmapmba.com, create a completely free account and access all this stuff completely for free. But the point is, it's really good stuff and it is world best practice on what to do. And we've really tried to make it simple. If you're a CEO, what's the checklist of things to consider within your new job? That actually, yes, you'll probably have your vision and your ideas and stuff to do, but actually there's very few people you can often ask for advice. Brilliant if you can get a mentor, but for people that can't, what we wanted to do is just give you a series of checklists and things that you can consider implementing. Some might be useless, but actually the idea is just to help you on that journey of stuff that other people do, stuff that I've done in the past. Just when you've not necessarily got anyone else to ask, what we want to do is help you be as successful and stuff in your business and career as possible. That actually, that's the whole point of what we're looking to do. Engaging your team. And then likewise, we also have the optional Roadmap MBA project. So we do have some very nice, sexy certificates. And the whole point of our task that we do with this, it's completely optional. But where you go through and what we want you to do is just pick out 5 areas and 5 techniques that you've found from the whole course that you think could most benefit you. And actually just fill out some questions where, what are the techniques that you can use? Why do you think it's important? How do you think you can use them? And actually it's just bringing all this stuff together to really help you understand all the new knowledge and stuff that you've got from the book. And actually it's all about helping you implement those things, create your lead actions. When you send this in, I will go through it personally and actually come back to you with some really good advice about things that you could do. But the whole point is you've got a very simple, clear, concise document which will help you grow and achieve your goals from the start of the course. And that's based on that. You kind of check that you've done some of the stuff. But it's all about you. It's all about helping your real achievable goal. It's really easy to do. It's not a grammar test. We don't ask you to reference anything. It's genuinely about helping you achieve your goal. And then based on that, we give you a really cool kind of certificate as well. And then just to kind of finish off some of the new stuff that I'm getting more involved with myself. Creating an investor slide deck. This is becoming more and more important for people that want to start a startup and actually sell their idea to other people. So what I wanted to do was go through and actually check what is current industry best practice. This does change all the time, but I still wanted to just help share ideas of things to do. And then last but not least, for a lot of different people, not excluding myself, the whole point of often starting a business is, yes, to make a living and yes, to kind of live off it. But if you can really build towards an exit, the first thing you have to do is plan for the exit. And there are things that you can do to basically understand the timeline and how things often work. Because again, if you left school at 16 and you've been doing a side hustle to sell sneakers online, it's probably quite difficult to learn this kind of stuff. So what we want to do is kind of share that. And then last but not least, the important bit, how can we actually maximize the value of your business so that if you do ever exit, how can we actually get you the highest possible valuation for that so that you can go and sail off into the sunset and everything else. So the last few pages, which I'll just kind of flick through, are just how we wrap up and we do some other stuff and we tell you about some of the community mission, that kind of thing. But hopefully what I've tried to do over the hour and 15 minutes that I've kind of been talking is hopefully demonstrate that we do try and we genuinely have tried to build the complete roadmap start to finish so that someone who has no history or background in business can actually help and both have an awareness of all of the different areas to consider, hopefully actually upskill your area across your skills across all of these different areas. And it is genuinely about helping you make that next step. So then we go through on some other stuff, some message from me, a one-page recap just to help you go through and answer some questions yourself. And then last but not least as well, we have the buy one gift one initiative where basically it's really important is that if you ever actually go through and purchase one of the actual courses, it includes the physical textbooks which we send out all around the world. It includes some really good kind of carbon offset. It allows us to donate digital courses, but also you can also donate completely for free to someone you know or to someone that you've never met. Basically the exact same thing. And basically what we want to do is use this to create and empower the community. It really does genuinely help give back to a lot of different people. And actually the buy one gift one initiative is mega important to us. that yes, we do give out a ton of stuff for free. And if you actually reach out to me, I will happily send a free course to anyone, anywhere in the world. Our major goal for 2023 is just to raise awareness on what we're looking to do. It is all about the community mission and that kind of thing as well. And especially this Christmas, I think you have a lot of people that will hopefully be excited about going into 2023. But unfortunately, a lot of people might be worried about it as well. Their business might not be doing maybe as well as they hoped. And what I want to do is just help people, just help them make that next step. So again, if you go onto the website, you can create accounts completely for free. And actually, that's the whole point of what we're looking to do. So at 10:16 on Christmas Eve, I'm officially calling it that this is it for 2022. It's been quite an eventful year. Thank you to all of my clients and people that pay my wages as a management consultant that I work with. I genuinely love being part of your team. A lot of stuff planned, hopefully for 2023. I don't know what's going to happen in the world, but obviously my job is to learn, pivot and adapt and do the best I can. Have a wonderful festive period. If you do ever find yourself struggling or bored or you hate Christmas or whatever, feel free to reach out and send me a DM. I will always reply. And yeah, have a wonderful Christmas, and I will catch you in January, probably second week in January for 2023. Cool. Thanks, guys. Have a great day and happy Christmas.